Hi boys and girls, my name's Mr. Curry and this is Mr. Martin. Today we'll be joining you on your very first online learning program. Now today's focus is all about athletics. But before we get started, I wanted to bring up some very important safety tips. Make sure you have a nice safe environment, your chairs and tables are out of the way, and make sure you don't have a slippery surface. All right boys and girls, let's get started.
Hi boys and girls, it's Mr. Martin again. So the first athletic event we're going to be working on is long jump. Now boys and girls, first things first, I appreciate you're not going to have a long jump mat at home. You don't need one, it's simply for demonstration purposes. So boys and girls, when we're speaking about long jump, we always break it up into three areas. Number one is the run up, number two is the jump, and number three is the landing. Today we're going to be working on the takeoff and also the landing. So, boys and girls, let's make sure we're in a safe area and let's make sure we have considered all of the things around us as far as safety is concerned. So that means that there's nothing around us so we can do a safe jump. So as I said, first things first is going to be our landing, feet behind the line. Our hands are going to come up nice and high, and we're really going to be focusing on the way that our feet are coming down for the landing in preparation. So I'm going to bring my feet apart here. I'm going to bring my eyes out in front, arms out, bending my knees, arms come back, and then I jump out in front. Now, boys and girls, you'll notice with that jump that 2 feet are down and my arms were in that safety landing position. We know that as the motorbike position. That's your safety landing position. So, boys and girls, let's do it together. I've just demonstrated. Let's do it as a team. 2 feet behind, remember behind that line, eyes focusing where we're jumping, arms up high, bend those knees, arms come back, and remember to really throw those arms forward. And jump, and landing. Steady landing and controlled landing. Now I want you to pause for a second, and then I want you to go through 3 more repetitions. So boys and girls, we've just gone through the landing aspect of the long jump. So now we're going to move on. We're going to progress to what we call the takeoff. Now, all we're going to be really focusing on, boys and girls, is introducing the 1 foot approach. Now in long jump, if you want to do a legal attempt, you need to make sure you're taking off on 1 foot. The first activity was all about understanding the mechanics of the landing. So today with the takeoff, remember 1 foot. Here's how it's going to look. 1 foot behind the line. We always need to make sure we're behind that line. And what I'm going to do is you're going to notice my other knee is going to come up like this. We're still going to be landing in the same position as we did for the first progression. However, just a few little differences that you'll notice. Okay, so what we're going to do, foot goes behind the line, arms up here, my knee's going to come up, and then I'm going to execute the jump. 1 step back, knee up, and landing. So the landing stays consistent. The only difference here is what we've done is we've brought in the takeoff component, which is 1 foot down, knee comes up. Let's do it together. All right, foot down, arms up, eyes out into the direction that I'm jumping, rocking back, knee comes up, and landing down in my safety position. All right, boys and girls, you owe me 3 more repetitions. Let's see you in a minute. So boys and girls, we've just gone through long jump. Now we're going to move on to stage 2. Stage 2 is all about the sprinting mechanics. So what I want to do first thing before we move on to the actual activity is I want to establish what we call the dominant foot and the non-dominant foot. Here's a fun drill for you. What I want you to do is I want you to place your hands beside you, just like this, and we call this the quick draw activity. As fast as you can, I want you to pull your arms up like this. All right? Ready, set, go. As quick as you can. Let's do it one more time just to make sure we're consistent with the way the arms are moving. Ready, go. You'll see with both one of those activities that I just did then, my left arm comes up first. So that means that's my quick arm. So what that's going to mean is right foot forward, left arm forward. Okay? Then obviously left foot back, and then my right arm will be back as well. They're your starting positions. So what we're going to do for the first activity, the first progression of our sprinting, it's a really easy one. Boys and girls, you'll see this piece of equipment here and you don't need it at home. This is for demonstration purposes and that's all it is for. So activity number 1, what we're going to do, we've established the dominant foot forward. I'm going to place my right foot forward. We're going to be looking at the position that we're going to be running in and we're really going to focus on knees coming up and my arms pumping back to front. All right, number 1. Always make sure that we are focusing where we're going. We do not want to place our head down and start to look in other positions. That disengages what we call our hips, and that's where all the power is coming from. All right, so always look forward. Number 2, let's do this one together. All right, ready? Eyes forward, getting ready, dominant foot forward, and just like that. All right, boys and girls, you know the drill. You owe me 3 more. Get into it. So boys and girls, now let's move on to level 2. Let's move on to the second progression of our sprinting training. So what we started off with was what we'd call straight line running. We're going to bring in a little bit of agility or a little bit of lateral movement, side to side. Now you may be thinking, what does side to side lateral agility work got to do with straight line sprinting? Good question. The reason that we do that type of training in athletics is what it does is it actually promotes explosive power, which, as you would know, with all of our different athletic events, we need to make sure we're being as explosive as possible, okay? So what we're gonna do, I call this one the 2 feet dance. Here's how it looks. 2 feet go into the ladder, 1 foot comes out. 2 feet in, 1 foot out. I'm gonna say it again. You do not need this piece of equipment at your home. You can use just a normal piece of ground, all right? Here's what it's gonna look like. Let's put it into play. Number 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. All right, let's go back. Let's do this one as a team. Let's do it together. Standing here, remembering our sprinting mechanics, 1 foot in front, the dominant one, the non-dominant arm is going to go back, and then my other arm just like this. And 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, just like that. All right? You boys and girls owe me 3 more repetitions. When we're finished, we'll meet back up again. So boys and girls, today we've been through the long jump and we've been through the sprinting mechanics. Number 3, the final thing that we're going to conclude on is shot put. Now this is a practice shot put. For the purposes of today, that's what I'm going to be using. You don't need this at home. This activity is going to be a little bit more static based. So what that means is it's not going to be too much movement. Here's how it's going to look. First things first, we need to understand how the shot put's going to sit in my hand. So a good drill that we're going to do is I want you to show me your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, that's my dominant hand. I'm going to place my hand up here. Now what I want you to do is I want you to touch your pinky and your thumb together, just like this, and you'll see 1, 2, 3. That's where the shot put is going to sit. We call that the basket of your hand. So the fingers, not the palm. Very important. The fingers, not the palm. So now I'm going to place my shot put into my hand, or into my fingers rather. So fingers just here. Pinky, thumb, locked up at the back. Now that's how the shot put should be resting in your hand. Now with shot put, we also need to make sure when we're performing the skill that we're doing it in what we call a pushing motion. So if we were to do what we called in Fundamental Movement Skills program, the PE program, if we were to do the overarm throw, that would be what we call in athletics a foul. So we need to be thinking the mechanics of a push. Here's how it's going to look. Shot put in our fingers. We've just gone through that one. Now I want you to place your shot put, wave it in the air here. From here, we're going to bring our shot put down to our neck. Now what you'll see is my hand is behind the ball. That's important. We don't want our hand on top of the ball or underneath. We want it behind the ball. So in this position here, I have a nice high elbow, which promotes a pushing position. So what we're going to do for today, we're going to bend our knees. We're going to make sure that my arm is in that nice high position. And we're going to do a particular pushing activity. This one's going to be a shadow one. So I'm going to look down at my watch here. You're going to look at your imaginary watch. And all we're going to do is we're going to change positions. One more time. Ball on my neck, elbow stays high, bend my knees, looking at my imaginary watch, and straight up here. Now let's do it as a team so we all understand what's expected. 3 fingers, pinky, thumb, from high down to low, elbow stays nice and high, bend those knees, arm comes out in front, looking at your watch, and from here, change those positions. Now, boys and girls, I want you to work through that 3 more times so we can really consolidate the skill today.